You'll always email your speakers, and that part in and of itself is not the problem. The problem is checking 3 different places to find the answers that you're looking for. Did she send her bio? Do we have her headshot? Has travel been confirmed? What is still outstanding? The information and answers to all those questions exist. They're just scattered. And when things are scattered like that, you become the single person that everything goes through. By now, you've probably realized that hosting speakers isn't just about booking them. There's weeks of coordination that's lying underneath the surface. Travel, bios, headshots, session details, planning calls, presentations, rehearsals, just to name a few. And none of these are especially hard on their own. What makes it challenging is when you're trying to track all those details with multiple speakers. Because once you've got 5 speakers, 10, 15 or more, you're not just managing individual conversations anymore. You're managing status. And that's the exact point where things start to get strained. So let me show you why that happens and why your inbox simply can't handle all those things, no matter how organized you are. The challenge was never just one single speaker, it's all of them at once. Because each and every speaker has their own set of details, and each one of them is at a different point than the person next to them. Here's what that can look like on any given day. One speaker has sent in their bio. Another still owes you a headshot. One has confirmed their travel. Another is still waiting for approval from their company. Another has finalized their presentation and sent it over, while another hasn't even thought about starting it yet. One has done their planning call, and another hasn't even responded to the email so you can schedule one. And every single day, you're trying to answer the same handful of questions. Do we have everything we need? What's still missing? Who do I need to follow up with? What can we say has been completed and we can completely move on from? And then we go ahead and add another speaker. So now we're starting over with that person from the beginning on top of all the other people that we're currently tracking. That's the part that wears on you. It's not the tasks themselves that are the challenge, but what wears on you is carrying all of those statuses at once. And the more speakers that you add, the harder it is to manage and control that without things starting to slip through, which is usually the moment when people start leaning into their inbox to keep track of information. And that's where the real trouble starts. Now, let me be clear, email is not the problem. You'll always be emailing your speakers, and you should. This is where the conversations are happening, and you need things in writing. But the issue is starting to think that the inbox should be the ones carrying the tracking of the status of things, because that is not what your inbox was built to do. I mean, picture somebody coming over to you and asking, hey, did we get Sarah's slide deck yet? It feels like a simple question, but now we're digging through emails, opening one thread after another, maybe checking an attachment folder or some spreadsheet, maybe even trying to remember if she said she was going to send it next week, or trying to remember if it already did arrive and you just forgot to log it somewhere. 5 minutes later and you still don't have a clear answer. The information exists, it's just trapped in conversations, and conversations don't keep track of the status. Your inbox can tell you what was said, but it can't easily tell you the things that you need in a glance. Like what's complete, what's missing, what's overdue, and who's waiting on whom. That's a completely different job, and it's a job that email was not created to do. Which is exactly why even the most simplest questions start to feel surprisingly hard. Most of what you're asking about your speaker isn't complicated or hard at all. The problem is just how much effort it takes to get to the answer. Say you sit down for an hour of speaker follow-up. The first thing you have to figure out isn't what to do, it's to figure out where everyone actually stands right now. So you start digging. You check your inbox, then your spreadsheet, then your notes, then honestly, probably even your own memory. And then before you know it, before you've even sent your first follow-up email, 15 minutes have gone by. All from just trying to piece together where everybody is at, currently. Now repeat that for every speaker, every week, every month. That's where the drain actually comes from, not from the follow-up itself, but the constant rebuilding of the picture over and over again. And that's why the whole thing wears on you way more than it should. You're not missing information because it's all there. What you're missing is visibility. The full picture exists, it's just in a format that doesn't allow you to see everything in one place at the same time. And this visibility gap shows up in more places than just the speaker side of things. So much of how event day feels comes from knowing and being able to see where you stand at a point where it's early enough to catch any issues and fix them. So if you're putting an event together right now and you want to get a clear idea on where things are solid and what areas still might need a few adjustments, I have a free assessment for you called the Event Pulse Check. It takes only a few minutes and you'll get your results right away. This way, you can catch the soft spots while there's still time to do something about them. You can find the link down in the description. So if email isn't the problem, what is the actual fix? So if email isn't the problem, what is the actual fix? It isn't emailing less. It's giving the information a home that's outside of the conversation. A place where the status can actually live, and more importantly, a place where your team can actually see it. Let's take that same question from before. Has Sarah turned in her presentation yet? Instead of searching through your email threads, you open up one document and you can see the status right there. Bio received, headshot received, travel confirmed, slides outstanding, follow-up needed. Done. 10 seconds, not 10 minutes. Or say a session time changes. Instead of updating that information in 4 different places and hoping you caught them all, you update it just that one time. Or a team member needs the full story on a speaker. Instead of forwarding email chains and explaining the history from your memory, all they have to do is just go into one section and find the information that they need. That's the whole shift. You're not trying to send fewer emails. You're just trying to see where everything stands without having to dig for the information. Because your inbox should be doing what it's genuinely good at, which is having the conversation. But the details that matter most just need somewhere else to live. Somewhere that shows what's done and what's still open. What's missing and where every speaker stands at the current moment. And when that happens, something bigger happens than more than just the time being saved. You stop being the only person who knows what's going on. The information is no longer trapped with you anymore. It's available for the whole team. So if hosting speakers has ever felt like checking 3 locations just to get the information, you're not imagining it. That's exactly what's been happening. Your inbox was built to hold conversations, not status and not progress. Not a complete at-a-glance place for you to figure out where all the speakers you're working with are at. Which is why the speaker site starts to feel lighter when it goes into a place where that information was actually meant to be held. Somewhere that shows you what's complete, what's missing, and something that you can look at a glance. And that's exactly where I want to take you next. Because once you're not the only person who knows where everything stands with your speakers, the whole experience changes. Click the video on your screen and I'll show you what that actually looks like.